Hey everyone, it's Chef Jess. Thanks for joining me today. I am continuing to work on the Mayberry Cookbook. I've only done 2 recipes so far, and that was those 2 broccoli salads in my last video. This week, I am going to work on 2 a little bit more extreme recipes that'll take a little more brain work than just a broccoli salad. We are going to make minestrone made right. And then while the minestrone is cooking, I am going to share with you this other recipe because Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and I thought, why not make something with pumpkin in it? So we are going to also do the Sourwood Mountain pumpkin coffee cake. Let me see if I can see that. That one right there. Doesn't that sound delicious? Yum, I'm excited. Thanks for joining me today. And let's get started on the minestrone soup. This minestrone soup, I must say, is made a lot different than like the way I typically make minestrone soup, only because I just kind of do crumbled sausage. And this recipe, they make little meatballs. So I'm really excited to try it this way because that just sounds super delicious. All right, let's set up the camera and get a little situated so you can see what I'm doing here. This takes a little bit of, and I think that is, I just want you to see the pot. I mean, I think that's good. Okay, let's see where we can start. Yep, perfect. It first calls for you to, I'll read the directions, wash the spinach and remove the stems. Dry and finely chop the spinach. In a bowl, combine the spinach, toast crumbs, which I'm going to skip using any breadcrumbs because I'm making this soup for a lot of clients, and some don't want the meat, some don't want the pasta, some are gluten-free. So I'm going to make this gluten-friendly and just skip the toast crumbs. You could use gluten-free crumbs. I'm just going to omit it altogether. So spinach, toast crumbs, which we're omitting. Beef, it calls for, but I am going to do Italian sausage because that is what I had in the freezer. Egg, salt, and pepper. All right, let's get this going here. I got the sweet Italian. Open that up. Let's see here. Pour it on in. Give my hands a little wash after touching that for a minute. Okay, let's see. I have some eggs. Says 1 egg. Okay, so 1.5 pounds of the sausage, or you can use ground beef like this recipe calls for. 1 egg. Spinach. I know it says to rinse and take the stems off, but the spinach I have bought comes in a bag pre-rinsed, and I don't mind the stems. All I'm going to do is chop it up. So I'm going to keep the stems on. So once again, I just can't follow a recipe straight on. I always have to alter it and make it my own, which is fine. Cooking's more fun that way. It becomes kind of boring and treacherous if you have to do everything by the T. Okay, how much spinach does it say? 1 pound. That's a lot of spinach, y'all. I don't know if I want to do 1 pound. You know why? Because I actually want to use half of that spinach when I finish the soup, because I love just throwing fresh spinach in for the last 10 minutes of cooking, and then you see the big spinach chunks in the soup. I love that, so I'm going to keep that for my version of this recipe. But I'll add some more spinach into this too. If you don't care to hand chop your spinach, you could use a food processor and throw your spinach in it, but I don't really feel like having to clean it right now, so I'm hand chopping. I don't know. I mean, what does it say how to do? I mean, you chop the spinach. It doesn't say I have to do it real finely, so I'm not going to try to chop this to death. Now I have spinach mess all over my cutting board. Ew. Let me wipe that off real quick, y'all. Okay. Spinach mess comes off. Good. Okay. Good enough, right? Okay. What else are we missing in this? We're skipping the breadcrumbs, just salt and pepper. Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot my pepper shaker's not working. Oops. Gotta charge it. I love USB stuff. It's pretty cool, but when it dies, then you're really out of luck for a while. You can't just pop batteries in it and start it up. So I guess I'll have to charge this while I'm using the manual cracker. Well, I guess I can't find the charger either, so I'm just going to have to deal without it. But luckily, I have a backup, so here's a little bit of pepper. I think it calls, it says just to taste, so I always like putting just a little more pepper than salt and everything, but also the sausage is, somewhat like salty. So there we go. And I'm just gonna use my hands, dig on in there, make these sausage balls. And by the way, I do have my oven preheated already. Let's see what the directions on here say you cook these in a Dutch oven, and then you finish after you take the meatballs out, then you cook your soup in it, and then you add your meatballs in last. Since I have some people who do not want sausage in this recipe, I am going to just bake these meatballs and not cook them in the same pot as the soup. All right. When it comes to like mixing meatball mixture and meatloaf mixture, it's best to just mix it until combined. You don't want to sit there and over mix it for a long time, because it actually does cause your meat to become just a little more tough, because you're working those protein strands a little too hard. So just keep that in mind. Just mix it until you feel like all the ingredients are just starting to combine. All right, I have my sheet pan ready to go. I always like to use foil so that I do not have to wash it later. Some nonstick cooking spray. I love avocado oil, but you can use whatever you want. And I love to use, how big do I want? I kind of want these meatballs to be small. So I love using portion scoops for cookie dough and meatballs and putting muffins in muffin cups. It's a lifesaver as far as like, I shouldn't say lifesaver, but more like a time saver, especially when you have to do a ton of muffins, a ton of meatballs, a ton of portioning out cookies. This just makes life easier, and you also get evenly, like an even amount of dough or meatball mixture, so everything looks very symmetric and the same size. So I always just I scoop it and then I kind of ball it up. And yeah, some end up being a little bigger than others, but I kind of like when they're a little off in size, because it shows that you made the meatballs from scratch and they're not store-bought. Ugh, I do not like store-bought meatballs. Tastes like dog food to me. No offense to those who eat them, but when you have made and eaten homemade meatballs as much as I have, you just can't turn back. Okay, meatballs. And I'd have to say, if I was to add the breadcrumbs, it probably wouldn't be this gum, like it's all soft and smooshy, but that's okay. I'm going with it because it's what I want to do. I feel like I need some music going right now. Okay. A little bit more, almost done. A little bit more. It sure looks like a lot of spinach. If I were to do this, I don't know, we'll see how it turns out, but if I were to do this again, maybe I'd add a little less spinach because I don't know how this is going to turn out. But I cannot doubt yet because I'm not done. Okay. One more. On my little meatball. There we go. All right. Wash my icky hands. Okay. All right, y'all. I have got, I'm cooking some turkey in the oven for making turkey pot pie. So I'm going to take that out. I'll just show you really quickly. Yum. They sell these turkey tenderloins in the store that are already mesquite flavored and marinated. So I'm just going to chop these up and make a pot pie later. But that's not what we're working on right now. So now that those are out the oven, we're going to put these yummy meatballs in, and I'm just doing them at 350. I'll probably do them for about 20 minutes, I think. So, and while these are cooking, we'll get the soup going. Just like in my chicken noodle soup video, I am using my Instant Pot because Instant Pots make soup so quickly, and I love it. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the saute function and push start. I'm going to just add a little bit of olive oil in there. I'm going to have to open it somehow. Let's see, because it's a brand new bottle. All right, a little bit of oil. All right. So let's see what they put in their minestrone soup in this cookbook. So we've done the meatballs. We have not cooked them in a Dutch oven / Instant Pot. We are deciding to bake them. You're welcome to cook them in here though, and take them out and then make your soup as planned. So it says you remove your meatballs, which like I said, we're not doing that. You keep them separately. So now we're going to add the onion to the kettle and cook until translucent. So on here it calls for, where is the onion? I don't even see the onion on here. There it is. Okay. One large onion. Okay, here's my onion. Okay. Y'all, I think I am going to switch things up again. I'm going to use half of this sweet onion, and I have this onion left from the other day that needs to be used. It's red onion. Yes, I know that's a little different, but I don't know. I'm not going to do it all. I'm just going to do half because I know red onion is just a little more pungent. But boy, I don't know. It sounds good to me, so I'm going to give it a shot. Now I'll add the sweet onion too. They'll marry together in holy matrimony. And my Instant Pot. I know you can tell I have way too much fun. Get the onion in the pot. The onion in the pot. Right, there's our onion. That thing's already heated up. Do you want to know a little pet peeve I have about when people put, things in a pan to saute? I cannot stand when people put things in a cold pan. You need to make sure your pan is hot first, or you're going to make Chef Jess really mad. All right, stir that on around. It says to cook it until it's translucent. Yum, yum, yum. Oh gosh, I think that red onion is a little bit too strong. Whew. So while this is cooking, it also calls for a cup of carrots. So I eyeballed it, but I think this looks good. And then 1.5 cups of celery. So I'm going to use this whole thing of celery. And I am going to add on again. I want to do zucchini in my soup. And I have this turnip left over from a few days ago, and I just need to get rid of it. So I'm going to throw this turnip chopped up in there too. So I'm going to start cutting these carrots. I think I'm just going to half them, and that's it. I'm not going to go too small in my dice because I kind of want it, chunky, but not too chunky. All right. There's my carrot. See, a little chunky, but not too big. And this guy's kind of a big carrot, so I'm going to cut him twice. And then some are really little, so I don't really have to cut them at all. Okay, let's see if I can cut them all at the same time. I just love making a huge batch of soup because, you start with such a small amount of ingredients and somehow the soup becomes massive. And then, what's fun about it is you can freeze it. And I also find it fun to just share it with other people. So sometimes I keep a bunch of these in containers frozen. And then if I have a friend or a family member I'm thinking about, I'll go take them some soup. And if I can't do it right away when I make it, at least I have it for when I'm able to. So it's just such a good heartfelt gift, I think. What's not better than food made with love, right? Not better than a gift card to Amazon, but I mean, that is good too. But that's not the point. You didn't home make that. Okay, there's the carrot. Chop up this celery. I just like to keep it on the root and just chop away till I get down to the root. There we go. There's our celery. Show you that. Okay. There we go. Making a mess on the floor. What? That is not like me. What are y'all doing to me on these videos? I'm just turning into a messy Jessie. My mom used to call me Messy Jessie. I wonder why. Okay, I think next I want to do the turnip. He's a little bit more stocky and needs a little more cook time. So peel my turnip. If you're not familiar with Sorry, not turnip. Gosh, I've been calling it a turnip the whole time, y'all. It's a parsnip. Parsnips look like a carrot, or at least they're shaped like, I'm missing half of it, but it's usually shaped like a carrot. Sometimes you can find them in the store like this one, which is massive. Sometimes they run smaller. Gosh, for me, a parsnip tastes like in between a rutabaga and a turnip. But if you haven't had really any experience with any of them, I would recommend you buying them and trying them out. I mean, you can just roast them in the oven because it, brings out the best flavors. So, I mean, don't be afraid of it. Just cook it like any other vegetable. And especially in soups, because you can't go wrong usually when you throw these kind of vegetables in there, because they're starchy, and starches usually do well in anything. I do have to say, using too much of it can be overpowering. So you don't want to, you've got like a assorted vegetable roast. Don't use much more of the other vegetables than the parsnip, because parsnip can be a little pungent. You can make parsnip fries. I hear those are really good. Make a special dip with them. Okay. One more piece. I'm chopping like I'm on the chef channel in a competition. Not really. Okay. Let's get to our zucchini. I'm just going to half it and half it again. There's what our zucchini, everything. I try to make all the vegetables, I can't talk. All the vegetables in the soup about the same size. That way they kind of cook evenly. All right, chop, 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 chop. We are about to be done with the chopping, but I do want to add some garlic. I don't even think, they don't even have garlic in this recipe. What? I am sorry, y'all, but I have got to add some garlic to minestrone soup. That is uncalled for. What were they thinking? All right, we'll just add, once again, my easy already peeled garlic that I like to buy to save time and effort. I'm going to do 5 cloves. Sound good. Minced but chunky. There we go. Let me rinse my garlicky fingers off. Okay. Give this, I'm going to bring the pot to you so you can see what's going on in here. I'm going to stir this up. My last Instant Pot I had broke. I dropped it and it just wasn't salvageable, and I had to recently buy a new Instant Pot, but I really love this one even more because it's called Instant Pot Pro. And what I like about it is it has these rubber handles, and my old one did not have handles, so I can easily pick things up out of the pan, which is a game changer. Okay, oh, the bottom is starting to brown. That's a good sign, y'all. That means we got to start getting some liquids in there. Let's see, liquid-wise, it says a 16-ounce can tomatoes, broken up with a spoon. I don't know, y'all. I mean, back then I know. I mean, what does it mean, canned tomatoes? What do you mean, diced, whole? It doesn't really specify. So I'm going to use diced because I always use diced tomatoes. I have fire roasted garlic or Italian style. I think Italian style is calling out to me today. I don't even need to open it with a can opener. There's a little key on there. Okay, I'm going to throw these Italian style tomatoes in. Stir that around. Right, looking good, looking good. Looking good, looking good. Okay. And then, I mean, there's not much left. It calls for 2 cups of kidney beans in 1 16-ounce can. What do you know? I have a can of kidney beans. But I am also going to add in a can of Great Northern beans to make it my own. So, you know, most people drain their beans, but I think for this, I'm actually going to keep the liquid and just not add much salt except for what's in the beef broth and the beans. Plus, I find sometimes that bean liquid helps soup get more of a nice texture and feel. What's that word? Viscosity? That's such a nice word. All right, dumping the white beans in. Dumping the kidney beans in. Give that a stir. Let me show you what's going on. There's our beans and our vegetables and our tomatoes. It also calls for basil and oregano. So I'm going to do just eyeball dashes. I mean, probably about a half a teaspoon of each. Oregano and basil. I love basil. I probably did more like 1 teaspoon of that. Stir that up. I also, after I'm done cooking this, I like adding fresh basil to my minestrone. So I'm going to add some fresh basil and fresh spinach at the end. And so the only thing we have left in this recipe is 2 quarts of beef broth. And I am not going to argue that. I am going to do 2 quarts of beef broth. I cheat. I don't want to store all of that broth. So I'm using beef-based paste that I'll mix with water. I've got a measuring cup here. Let's see, I think it's 4 cups, 1 quart. So we'll just have to do 1 quart at a time. So what I'm going to do is add these 2 quarts of water, and then I'll probably do a heaping tablespoon of that beef base, and that should flavor it up. So there's 1 quart, and two quarts. There, yum, 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 yum. Then I get a little spoon out. I'm just going to do a little bit of a heaping tablespoon of beef base. Yeah. And here we go. Probably not, shouldn't taste it right now, but I feel like I want to taste it. Because if I put too much beef base, I'll just add more water, more tomatoes. No, that's good. That is very good. But to tell you the truth, I kind of want to add 1 more can of tomatoes. So I think I will. 1 more can of tomatoes. I do have a lot of people to feed this soup to, so I want to make sure I bulk it up just a little bit more so everybody has enough soup. So I'm going to do this. I've got that fire roasted diced garlic. So I did Italian tomatoes and garlic tomatoes. And I'm going to do, let me check on my bean amount. I mean, I think it's enough beans, I guess. But I was thinking of adding a little bit more. I don't want to overbean it though. I think I will leave it just like this. So, done on the beans. All right, well, we've got everything in the pot, so I'm just going to go ahead and close it. And I'm going to set it to... I'm going to do pressure cook for just 1 minute because soup does not take that long in the Instant Pot. There's soup, and I'm going to push start. So when the 1 minute timer is up, I'm then going to release the pressure, because if we keep the pressure on, it's going to keep cooking the soup until the pressure goes down naturally, and then that'll just be way too mushy. So 1 minute pressure cooked soup in an Instant Pot. Remember that, y'all. It'll make the perfect texture of vegetables. You won't have mushy vegetables, I promise. All right, well, while that's going, we're going to go on over to our next recipe, which is the, ooh, I can't wait, Sourwood mountain pumpkin coffee cake, not just pumpkin cake. But let's see over here. We're just going to check in the oven. Let's see if I can bring you down. Beep. There we go. There's my oven. Let's see how the meatballs, I think my meatballs might be done. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I just poke things with my finger all the time. That's how I magically, that's my thermometer. It's like my favorite thermometer I have. So that when the meatballs feel nice and firm to the touch, and they're, I think, and they're sizzling and they're starting to brown, they are done. Look at that. Time for the coffee cake. Okay. Coffee cake. Let's read about this coffee cake. Sourwood Mountain Pumpkin Coffee Cake. So it calls for 1/2 cup of butter, 3/4 cup sugar, vanilla, eggs, flour, baking powder, baking soda, sour cream. That's for the actual coffee cake. And then for, I think, the stuff that you mix in with it, it's pumpkin, egg, sugar, pumpkin pie spice, brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, nuts. So I am going to substitute in this recipe the sour cream for Greek yogurt. And then I'm also going to substitute, I'm going to take the nuts out. I'm not feeling nutty today. So let's get started. In a large bowl, cream together 1/2 cup of butter and 3/4 cup sugar and the vanilla. Okay, so how many 1/2 cup of butter here? I feel like it could be softened a little more. The funny thing is about these recipes, it does not tell you, it just says butter. It doesn't say melted, it doesn't say softened. So I'm going to soften it since we're like creaming it. So I'll put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. How are you doing, butter? It feels pretty good. I'm going to let it go. I mean, that was only 15 seconds, so I'll let it go for the last 15 seconds. Okay, 3/4 cup sugar. That seems like a lot of sugar, y'all. I think I'm going to cut that down to 1/2 cup because, I don't know, we do not need all of that sugar. Okay, here's my butter. How's that look? That looks pretty good, huh? Yum. Creaming it up, creaming it up. Okay, although it calls for 3/4 cup sugar, I am only going to do 1/2 cup. So let's see, I'll do a little bit more. That's good. It's about 1/2 cup. Okay, that aside. Cream that baby up. Then it says to add the vanilla too, but I'm going to cream this together. Take my big old bottle of vanilla. It's just a better price value to get the bigger bottle. I mean, it says about a teaspoon, but I'm just eyeballing. There we go. Vanilla. Cream that up. Yummy. Okay. Next thing, let's see here. Add 3 eggs, one at a time, beating well after each addition. Okay. Here's our 3 eggs. I've already cracked. So do one at a time. You can do this in your KitchenAid mixer or with a hand mixer, but I just didn't want to have all that noise going on during the video, so I'm doing it by hand. Here's 1 egg. Here comes another egg. And the last egg. Done. Looks good. Okay, in a separate bowl, combine the flour, baking powder, and baking soda. And you add the dry ingredients to the butter, mixing alternately with the sour cream / raisin Greek yogurt. Okay, let me get another bowl because I wasn't prepared. Okay, we'll use this. Just have water in it. Water, but it's really, let me dry it off. Put that on the side. Okay, flour. I recently went to Westcliff and got this flour from an Amish bakery / sandwich place, and I'm really excited to try it out today. I'm just now opening. Oh, flour always puffs every time you open the bag. Okay, 2 cups of flour. Here we go. This says premium all-purpose flour. 1, 2. Okay, done with our big bag flour. And baking powder, baking soda. It's a teaspoon of each, so that's easy to remember. I always like to do heaping spoonfuls. Okay, 1 teaspoon of each baking powder and baking soda. Done with that. And then, so that's ready to alternate. I'm gonna kind of mix that baking powder, baking soda, and flour together. Now we've got to alternate it with the Greek yogurt that I'm substituting instead of sour cream. So it is 1 cup. So we'll get 1 cup out. One cup out. There we go. All right. Okay. There. It's heaping, but that's okay. I think my flour is a little heaping too, so that'll make up for it. All right, so we're alternating. I'm going to do a little bit of the flour mixture. Mix that in. So much easier if I'm doing this in my KitchenAid, but that's okay. I don't mind doing things by hand either. So, all right, and then you add a little bit of Greek yogurt in there. Doop. I want to see if any of you smarty pantses know why you have to alternate between the flour and either the milk or the sour cream. I'd love if somebody could answer that. If anybody gets it right, I'll send you a free cookbook in the mail. Okay, a little bit more flour. Oh, this is looking good. And I'm also going to do that. A little bit of yogurt. Okay. Rest of the flour. And okay. There we go. Make a little bit of mess all over the place. I love cooking and baking pretty equally. I must say I think I do cooking more because that's more in demand, but I love baking too. What do y'all like? Do you prefer baking or cooking more? Or do you also like both? It's pretty rare when I meet a person who loves doing both, but I want to know. What do you like? Okay. Ooh, boy. I feel like there's still a little bit of flour at the bottom there. Look at that. Looks so good. I'm going to wash my hands. And I just heard our Instant Pot start its 1-minute timer, y'all. So once that 1 minute is up, I have to release the pressure from the Instant Pot. It's going to get pretty loud. What's next? Spread half the batter into a 9 by 13 inch pan and spread to the edges. I don't have the pan out yet. This looks like a 9 by 13. I guess I'll do this. Let's see. We go, 9 by 13. I'm gonna spray that really well. Not on my cookbook though. All right, yum, yum, yum. Up. I think the Instant Pot is done. Let's go take a little quick gander here. It is done. I'm gonna have to release the pressure, and I don't want to do it under my cabinets. Keep that in mind. Don't release. Oh, that's another thing about this Instant Pot Pro. It has a my last one just had a pressure release valve, but this has a cap that covers and keeps it from spitting liquid everywhere. Isn't that cool? That's another reason why you need to get one too. I'm not sponsored, I promise. I just like to talk about cool gadgets. I'm gonna see what happens when I start the release. Look at that. It just releases. I know a lot of people are really scared of Instant Pots, but they're really safe compared to the ones back in the day. So don't be afraid of them. Okay, so we're just gonna let this release and get back to our coffee cake. So I have to spread this batter, half of the batter in the pan. Kind of looks like biscuit dough. I haven't made coffee cake in a while, so I forgot what the texture's like, but I've been making a lot of cakes, which is a whole different texture as far as the dough goes. Let me spread that out. It's not really spreading out super easy, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Well, that's just going to have to be good enough, right? It's almost there. All right. Let's see what's next. We have to combine the pumpkin, the beaten egg, which I have right here. Pumpkin beaten egg, a 1/3 cup sugar, and pumpkin pie spice. And I'm pretty sure this is talking. What is this talking? I don't know. Oh, I see here. Okay. There's a lot of sugar in this coffee cake, y'all. I'm going to try my best to kind of cut it down for you. Beaten egg, and you have the pumpkin. It calls for 1 16-ounce can of pumpkin. I only have a 15-ounce can. They don't sell 16-ounce cans. So I'm using another portion of a can too. Can't get it open. There we go. Okay. I need another spoon. I swear it takes like a million dishes just to make one loaf of bread or anything, one cake. Why is that? It's kind of annoying. Maybe that's why I don't bake as much, is because it just makes such a mess. Okay, there's 1 15-ounce can, and then I've got just a little bit left in this other can to equal 16 ounces, if not a little more. But you know what? I don't think a little extra pumpkin's going to hurt. What else are we adding? A 1/3 cup sugar. Y'all, I feel like we have enough regular sugar in this. I'm going to go grab my coconut sugar and just lighten it up a little bit. So let's see. I have a 1/3 of a cup. Do somewhere. There she be. All right, 1/3 of a cup. Substituting to coconut sugar. You could probably substitute monk fruit sugar too if you want. Okay. Sugar. And then pumpkin pie spice. Pumpkin pie spice. How much of that do we need? We need a teaspoon. I'm going to eyeball a teaspoon. I say that's about right. I'm going to mix this on up. Oh, I'm excited to see how our soup has turned out. It's going to be good. Then we're going to top our soup with the... Oh, Instapot's yelling at me. I don't know why. Oh, well, I guess it's okay. I'm just going to turn it off. Okay, back to this recipe. I need to focus on one thing at a time. I'm getting sidetracked here. Okay, mix it together right now over me. What song do you think I'm singing? I'd love to know. Okay, next, what does it say? I have to sprinkle brown sugar now over, gosh, what do we have to do? In a separate bowl. Okay, we got that. I'm assuming I have to combine. Okay, I have to get another bowl. Once again, look how many dishes we're having to make just for this one bread. That's okay. We also have to combine brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, and nuts, but I'm omitting the nuts, y'all. So a 1/3 cup of butter. I already cut this stick of butter, so it's 1/3 cup. I'm going to also soften this, even though it doesn't say softened, but it'll make it easier to mix. 30 seconds in the microwave. It's going to be good. All right, butter is softened. I'm going to use a spoon from the pumpkin can. And now I have to get brown sugar. Brown sugar. I'm not going to use as much as the recipe called for. That's for sure. Right, brown sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar to me is going to be a heaping 1/2 cup instead of a cup. Okay, that's brown sugar, and then cinnamon. Cinnamon, Costco cinnamon. It says 2 teaspoons, so quite a bit of cinnamon. There we go. Yummy. This is almost like when you make cinnamon rolls. Bet you it's going to taste like cinnamon rolls. Okay. I think I only did a half cup brown sugar, so I'm just going to do a little tad of that coconut sugar too. Coconut sugar. Now we can put it together. It says we have to preheat our oven at 325. So right now I have my oven at 350, so I'm going to turn it down right now to 325. Then, let's see. Sprinkle half of the brown sugar mixture over the batter, and then spread the pumpkin mixture over the streusel. Okay, we'll stop there. So, sprinkle half the, okay. This is probably why I don't make coffee cake very often. It's kind of a lot of steps, and I don't know. I'm not into a lot of steps. But I'll do it for y'all, and I'll do it for the Mayberry Cookbook. So, there we go. There, it's about half. Okay, and then is this the whole pumpkin mixture we do? Yes, the whole. Sprinkle half and then spread the whole pumpkin mixture. Gosh, this is going to be big. Okay, I trust you, recipe. Pumpkin going in. I need to use a spatula to get the rest of this out. Okay, there we go. Definitely be using my dishwasher today, that is for sure. Spread that on out. Oh, buddy, oh, buddy, oh, buddy. All right, after this, you spread the remaining batter over the pumpkin mixture and sprinkle this remaining streusel over the top. So, I feel like my streusel, because I didn't add enough brown sugar, is kind of, I don't know, wimpy. So I'm going to add a little bit more coconut sugar in to hopefully bring it together better. I think it'll be fine. Okay, here's our remaining batter. We're going to pour on top here. I'll probably just do little dollops everywhere because it's really hard to spread this. It's really thick. Dollops will be best. Do a dollop, do a dollop of daisy. I did not say I was good at singing, okay? Okay. All right. I don't know how I'm going to spread this out, but I'm going to try. It says to gently spread it out, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to gently spread all the way out. This is just crazy. Do the best I can. Yeah, it is not spreading out the best, y'all. So I may just leave it kind of the way it is. I'll try to get a little more batter out of here. Well, that's just maybe my finger will work better than the spoon. I think it does. Well, isn't that funny? Start to tear apart here. Y'all, that's just going to have to be good enough. I'm not doing anything else to it. All right. And then top it with streusel. Streusel. I don't know why my streusel just seems so gumpy, but I guess it'll be okay. I don't know. Usually when I think of streusel, I think of like a more crumble, but there's no flour in this one, so I guess it's not. I guess that's the difference between streusel and crumble, right? I mean, we'll see. There. Look at that. Worked much better using my fingers. Now I see why kids are like putting their hands and everything. It's just much better. Got that. There we go. Oh, now my hands are all buttery. Gotta wash them better. Well, I hope I might have to put this coffee cake on a pan because I feel like I picked too small of a bake. Oh, you know why, y'all? I think it said 9 by 13 baking dish. I did a 9 by 9. Well, it's definitely probably going to flow over. Oh, poo. I'm not going to take it out now. But hey, I didn't say I was perfect. Well, we're going to try this out and see how it turns out later. And we're going to get back to our soup and finish that up. So let me put this on a baking sheet and put it in the oven. Oh, I can't believe I did the wrong pan size, y'all. Jeez, just was not prepared. Okay, let's see how our soup's doing. All right, remember how I said I like to add some spinach at the end? This isn't in the Mayberry recipe, but I love just taking a big old handful of spinach, not chopped or anything. I'm going to do 2 handfuls of spinach. And then I'm also going to do some of this fresh basil to add even some extra fresh flavor. I'm going to de-stem it, chop it up. This smells good. And I'm talking about the basil. All right. Okay, there is our yummy, yummy fresh basil going into the soup too. Make sure I get all those scraps of basil. It's like leafy gold. Let me get you up in this pot. Yum, 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 yum. That looks great. If you don't like a whole lot of tomatoes, you don't have to add 2 cans like me. You can stick to 1. I love my minestrone extra tomatoey. Okay. And I think I'm also going to finish it off with some extra cracked black pepper. So the Mayberry Cookbook minestrone recipe calls for elbow macaroni noodles. You can really use any pasta noodles you want. You can even use gluten-free noodles. I prefer to just cook the noodles and add them in. Cook them, strain them, store them, and add the noodles in when you're ready to eat the soup. Because I find when I put my noodles in the soup, they expand and they get mushy. And especially if you're not going to eat the soup all in one day or freeze it, another idea would be if you cooked your pasta and you're going to freeze your soup to cool both the pasta and the soup, and then add the pasta in the soup before freezing. Or you can also omit pasta altogether. I'm going to just give this a little taste. Oh, that is perfect. So let's get this in a bowl so we can add some meatballs to it. Some meatballs. Meatballs. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, yum. Let's go over here and add some meatballs on top, shall we? Meatballs. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Then I'm going to finish it off with some Parmesan cheese. It is not minestrone without Parmesan cheese. Here we go. Yum. Oh my gosh, look at that. Delicious. Mwah. Great recipe, Mayberry. It's so good, but it's so hot. Oh, you've got to try to make this. It is delicious. I love how they did these meatballs with spinach. Oh, so good. So I'm going to break, and when we come back, we'll finish cooling this bread and take a look at it. So I'll see you then. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been about an hour since we've put these delicious coffee cakes in, and they are finally ready, and I just wanted to show you the final results. So you know how I told you that I put too much batter in the 9x9 pan? Well, after we got off, I decided to scoop some batter into another pan. That way it cooked a little bit better. But you know, it still turned out great. So I want to cut into these bad boys and see what they look like inside and how they taste. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. After 1 hour of baking this bad boy, it has turned out perfectly. Oh, look at that coffee cake. Got a little piece here. Yum, let's try this out. So it's like very crumbly and buttery. And then the little pumpkin mixture in the middle is still soft. So it's a good mixture of a nice moist coffee cake. So good. Well, that's the 2 recipes for you. The Sourwood pumpkin coffee cake and the Mayberry minestrone. Thanks for joining me on my adventure through cooking all of the recipes in Mayberry's cookbook. Like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you try these recipes at home and put your little twist on them. And let me know what you do. And if you have any pictures, send them to me.